Materials.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Josh.
And we're doing HitTrax technology. HitTrax technology can be used in various ways, such as catching, pitching, and things like that through technology. It allows the coaches and the players to basically keep their stats for later times. It gives them the ability to know what they did, what they need to improve on to keep pushing towards maybe their goals and things like that. It's also good for recruiters because they do a good job of using these technologies to basically know what type of players they get in their recruitment. It's very good in various ways, and a lot of people think of HitTrax as a good source of basically competition and being a game or something like that.
With HitTrax, you get different statistics. For the hitting side of HitTrax, one of the main things you get is exit velocity. This allows you to know how far the ball is going to be hit. And another thing you get is launch angle, which shows you if you're going to hit a line drive, ground ball, pop up, so on. The next one's point of impact. This is a really good coaching tool because it can show whether the player's hitting the top of the ball, the bottom of the ball, or the middle of the ball. Next, you can find play outcome, whether it's going to be a base hit, ground ball out, fly ball out, or so on. One more thing you can get is distance. So that explains itself. It's how far the ball is going to be hit. And you can also see strike zone analysis. For the pitching side, it shows pitch velocity, in other words, how hard a guy's throwing, pitch location, whether he's accurate or not, late break measurement, how good of a curveball or how good the movement on his pitches are, percentage strikes. That also couples with pitch location to show accuracy, performance by pitch type, how good he is with his different pitch types, and opposing batting stats. It lets you see whether the opposing batter would hit the ball, put it in play, get a base hit, or so on. It shows how good the catcher's arm strength is, how fast he can get a ball to the second baseman or the third baseman. Shows pop time, transfer time, how fast he can catch the pitch and stand up, transfer it to his throwing hand. It shows exchange time, which couples with transfer time. It shows throw accuracy, which that could be a huge thing to know whether he's going to catch runners stealing or not. Caught stealing percentage, whether he is going to catch people stealing. Strike zone analysis. This is used for framing and catching. So if the catcher catches a ball that's slightly outside, whether he can frame it back and get a strike call.
Use it. A lot of colleges and high schools use HitTrax. I think it's very good for the program because it basically gives them the ability to do a lot of things when it comes to using technology and the statistics that they need. Different baseball camps and groups and everything like that use HitTrax because it's basically fun for competition and a good thing for them to use to test each other out, skills and things like that. Notable schools would be Notre Dame and Vanderbilt. I think it's very expensive, so it's not just a thing that you see worldwide or in the everyday neighborhood or something like that, because HitTrax is very expensive.
So some of the competitors that offer similar technologies, similar products such as HitTrax, there is Rapsodo, but this is a product that focuses mainly on pitching. It's a good tool for pitchers and pitching coaches to use. Another one is Driveline Hitting, and they actually do incorporate HitTrax as a technology that they use, but they use the HitTrax aspect of it to mainly focus on the hitting aspects of their players, which comes to the velocity, where they're going to hit the ball, how fast it's going to go, where it's going to go, where the players are hitting it. Another technology that's used is Diamond Kinetics, and this is the most similar to HitTrax. It offers a technology that tracks the pitching as well as their swing. So it does lack the technology of the recruiting aspect of it and the throwing for the catcher's aspect. And something that's also used in Major League Baseball now is FoxTrax, which is a technology that's used to track the pitches during the game, which is the blue strike zone that people see when they're watching Major League games. But a big aspect of that is if the center field camera's off, then the strike zone is going to be off. So that's a very touchy technology that is still in question and is still being experimented with nowadays.
Okay, we're gonna go with the cost of HitTrax. It's between $30,000 and $40,000. It's not cheap, so like I said again, it's not something that everyone use. It's basically at notable name schools like that, so it's a good technology.
An aspect in which you can play against other teams that also have HitTrax as a technology. So whether it be nationally or internationally, you can get online in the facility and play against other teams. And it's good practice tool. It's not a scored competition, but it does give people around the world chances to compete against other people, as well as perfecting their techniques while they're practicing. And that also, you can either play in a tournament or you can just scrimmage them. But like we said, it is a good chance for players all around the world to play against each other and see what kind of talent that other people have, and they'll be able to improve each other in the long run. And in terms of using it in other sports, it is strictly baseball, softball right now, but it does have the potential to be used in other sports such as tennis, soccer, lacrosse, golf, volleyball, football. And although it's going to be a technology that with time is going to have to adapt to each sport, there's many aspects of tennis. If you're on the court, you can see how hard a player's swinging, how far it's going to go, how fast it's coming off their racket. Soccer, you can use it to critique and adjust your kicking. Lacrosse, your throwing, how hard you're throwing at the goal, where your shots have a chance of going in the goal, and how other defenders are playing, how fast you're running. And in golf, it'll be a good tool for golfers to use as a swing analytic, how fast you're swinging your club, where you're hitting the ball, how far the ball is going to go, how fast it'll come off the club. And volleyball, your stance on the court, again, how you're hitting the ball, where it's going to go when you hit it, depending on if you hit right under it on the side. So in the long run, HitTrax could be expanded into a variety of other sports, which in the long run could eventually help athletes become better than they are today.
Some key things that I may have left out earlier about HitTrax is that some of the strength of it maximizes player performance through visual and quantitative feedback. It's a good thing to have for stats and to keep things stored for later date. I would say the weaknesses would be the cost of it. You got competitors, and you also may have technology malfunctions, because technology is always changing. I would say the opportunities would be to improve player pitching, catching, and throwing, and other opportunities as other sports, as we talked about earlier, like soccer, lacrosse, and things like that. I would say some of the threats would be the cost of it, because it's very expensive. So people would not just go out there and buy HitTrax unless they have the money to buy it.